The aftermath was fairly bad. The street had been uprooted, water pipes freely cascading down to the street, and crumbling bits of building littered the sidewalk. Police sirens echoed off the area, the lights from the squad cars seeming to be the only light source due to the power having gotten knocked out. The entire street looked like a mess. But at least the villains had been apprehended and were now going to be processed through the justice system. But despite how the day had ended on a good note, one thing was still eating away at the hero who had just been on duty and fighting for his life. "My Anne!" he hollered, rushing through paramedics and other medical personnel. He knew you were here. Hell, he had arrived on the scene with his girlfriend when they got the report in about the attack, but somewhere between the quirks going off and the building falling near him, Bakugou had lost his love in the fight. And now that his adrenaline was slowly fading off and his worry quickly taking its place, he was pushing past his minor injuries that needed to be taken care of. He just had to find you. Now you were okay and alive. It didn't help that he kept overhearing casualty numbers, but not which side they had been on. Nor did it tell that people kept trying to get him to sit down so he could be checked over, but for God's sake, and these morons see he had better things to do than sit down and wait for them to tell him he had a gush in his lip? The ash plant pushed another person with a medical badge, asking him to calm down and take a seat. And then, with his mind looking at every person with such a quick speed, he saw your hair sticking out through a group of people in white. He dashed forward, screaming your name as loud as he could. He watched as the paramedics all jumped at his tone, but you looked up, relief washing over your face. As Bakugou entered the circle, he shoved past a few people, shoving more off of you as they hugged you tightly. God, where were you moron? I was so damn worried. He practically yelled at you, hands cupping your face. I was going to ask you the same thing, Bomber. You pressed your own hands against his. I wanted to look for you, but the paramedics forced me to stay here. Apparently, I dislocated my shoulder fighting. He chuckled, ruffling your hair. Dumbass. Of course you did. Maybe reckless at times, but you're damn accident prone. You gave him a sore look, but it only lasted for a moment before you burst into giggles yourself. Bakugou opened his mouth to speak again, only to be gently shoved onto the bench next to you. Two paramedics began to look him over, roughly making sure he stayed this time, as the explosion hero had his own share of cuts and bruises. You laughed again, watching Bakugou try not to blow at the people who only were attempting to help him. He looked back at you, rolling his eyes. You smiled gently, making sure his slingy arm stayed in was relaxed. You'd have to take a day off to heal and rest after tonight, but then back to work. The life of a hero was never rested. A true hero never rested, after all. Are we still on for our date tomorrow? You asked, peering at the blonde who looked about ready to snap at the man who was trying to clean his open wounds. Watch it, shithead, he shouted, and then turned to you. Yeah, sure. Damn it! I said watch it! Where do you want to go? You watched him continue to harass the man, now wrapping his cuts, thinking hard about what would be good after a day like this. You snapped your fingers when an idea popped into your head. Bakugou turned his attention back to you upon hearing that sound, knowing full well that this meant his girlfriend had been struck by the idea bug, and knowing her, it was either brilliant or brilliantly stupid. How about some Netflix and chill? You winked at him. Bakugou's eyes widened before he laughed once, smirking at you. An afternoon wasted away on your couch with good food, cuddles, and more? Sounds damn perfect, love.